Is all about get rich quick. You know, how I made $1 million in my weekends in real estate, no risk, no cash, no experience. And so I decided I'm going to write a book and lob in my theories. And so I wrote a book called Confessions. It's actually Confessions of a Real Estate Entrepreneur. I also have been a developer, but this book is Confessions of a Real Estate Entrepreneur. And it lobs in my theories on real estate investing, which are basically sort of never buy institutionally. In other words, buying on a low cap rate and waiting for gradual appreciation or rent increases just never made any sense to me. My theories in the book are always find a way to pop the value. Get in and get out, reposition the property, renovate the property, new leasing strategy, new zoning, whatever it was, get in and get out, and that's what I call adding value. What I'd like to talk about today is a little different. I'd like to talk about adding value to each of us. Each of you, in a way, is an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody who risks time and capital and energy in an effort to make a big profit. And whether you work for a bank, whether you're a developer, whether you're a broker, an architect, whatever, every decision you make, the decisions you make relative to how you spend your time and your capital, profit you're going to make. Did my mic go? Okay. Affects how you're going to come out at the other end of the tunnel. So I propose that each of you is really an entrepreneur, and you ought to think of yourself as kind of you Inc. You know, what can you do to add value to you Inc.? And that's really what I want to speak about this morning. I've been through these cycles. You know, that roller coaster thing. I've been through these cycles. I believe I'm a little more pessimistic than Mark and Rocky and maybe some of the other speakers. This one feels different to me. It feels heavier. It feels like a gridlock that we're not going to wrest our way out of very quickly. We know the credit and capital markets are all stuck. We know consumer confidence is at a 30 or 40-year low. Stock market's in a plunge. Housing prices are in a plunge. I think this one's going to be with us for a while. And so, okay, let's start with that proposition. We got some rocky times ahead. We got some difficult sledding ahead. What can you Inc. do to take advantage, at least survive, and maybe prosper? Now, this much I know, and I learned through my roller coaster life, chaos equal opportunity. Chaos equal opportunity. When things are upside down and going sideways, there's opportunity. There are openings for new thinking, new approaches, new ideas, new players. Maybe some of the established players here today won't be the same established players in 3 or 4 years. In the early 90s, when I told you about these bank failures and you're dealing with the FDIC and the RTC, I had my troubles because I owned a lot of real estate, but I also had a bit of a track record as a guy who learned how to add value to property, and some rich folks came to me and said, we want to back you. We want you to go and buy everything you can from the government, which is selling property pennies on the dollar. We want you to acquire, reposition, do what you do, and we'll hold for another 3-4 years, and we think things will recover. And that's really, at least in my area of the country, what put me on the map. I took these rich people's money and I went out and bought everything I could. At the time, buying office buildings for about $75 a foot, which we sold about 3 or 4 years later for $200.